Ladies and gentlemen, Trump's CNN audio is really a joke. They can't convict him on that, much less really indict him. Number one, they don't have the actual document. So where's the document? The piece of paper that's supposed to be classified within the audio does not exist, apparently. So they have to make sure that he didn't declassify that, even though he could have been on the tape, engaging in hyperbolic, just hyperbole. Because the entire conversation was hilarious, actually. He was going after Hillary Clinton and her servers, talking about how that one of the generals wanted to do something very militant and hawkish that he was opposed to. He even brings up Anthony Weiner, which was hilarious. Talks about Clinton's servers and how that was a huge national security risk. I love how people just gloss over that. Clinton had servers with top secret intel siphoned onto servers. Okay? And so that's apparently okay. But my question is, what on earth are they going to get Trump on? They're so desperate to have reality correlate with their absurd, apoplectic, completely irrational view of who Trump is and what he represents. What are you going to indict this man on? Oh, well, he already was indicted. What are you going to convict him on? Oh, well, he admitted. He didn't admit anything on tape. The document doesn't exist. Now, if the document exists and it was actually classified and he didn't declassify it, that's a problem. But even then, the precedent, because in the law, there's something called legal precedent. The legal precedent is that Clinton can have servers. We don't know how Clinton transferred top secret and classified data onto servers. Okay? But servers with classified data and top secret intelligence on them, it is impossible to even transfer that from a cybersecurity perspective, and it is the epitome of a national security risk. You have servers siphoning data outside the U.S. government, but nobody in the U.S. government or anywhere else had access to Clinton's servers. Gee, you think maybe that's a national security issue? Trump had boxes and their iron, lead pipe lock indictment against him, where they're going to convict him for 5,000 years in prison, is this banter where he's joking around. It was a jovial, fun conversation. And they try to make this into such a serious issue. And then they ignore actual servers for 4 years, siphoning classified data outside the U.S. government. And so you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where Trump just says, oh yeah, laughs, but then it's like, what do they have? They don't have the document. If you go ahead, you can go on CNN and listen to it. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel right now. To become a member of this channel, go to H.A. Goodman. So become a member to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. Super thanks. Thank you so much to my Patreons. Thank you. I cannot do this without you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a situation where the one thing they're going to get Trump on is a conversation just with banter, discussion, where they're laughing. They're not taking anything seriously. This isn't Trump trying to mastermind some plan to take over the universe. He's trying to show that, as always, what they do is they spin their criminality and corruption. So you have a general going after Trump or trying to invade another country, and Trump is like saying, no, I don't want to do that. And they're accusing Trump of something he didn't authorize or he didn't want to do. And he talks about Clinton's servers and Anthony Weiner. Okay, both committed crimes. The servers were one of the greatest national security issues in recent memory. And if the rebuttal is, well, President Obama knew, and the national security and central intelligence, they all knew, that's still against the law. If you want to say that all of her emails were eventually went through government firewalls, that's still against the law. She had servers. She had secret private servers that President Obama stated he didn't know of. So I guess you can't say that those emails were protected at all. And Comey said there was no reasonable prosecutor. So how did you find a reasonable prosecutor to go after Trump? It's really unbelievable the ability of people on CNN and MSNBC to completely ignore the elephant in the room, which is the criminality on their political side. Whether you have Hunter repackaging classified data, okay, for repackaging classified data for to facilitate business deals, according to Ted Cruz and Chuck Grassley and others. Classified data very likely at the University of Delaware that the entire planet knows likely exists. And you have so many people going to bat and covering up for Hunter and Joe and Hillary and Bill and others. And so the issue, ladies and gentlemen, is the following. It's like, you don't know if Trump declassified the document. You don't even have the document. The DOJ doesn't have the document. He says on the tape, yeah, I could have declassified it, but again, it's like Trump speaks in a hyperbolic manner. And so it's not a deposition. Neither was the hot mic in 2016. And Trump never truly says what he says. There's always he never truly says what he is accused of saying. He never complimented and refused to condemn the people on that day in 2017. He never did that. And if I have to speak because of the algorithm in a certain way, so that's never happened. It never happened. It's like this middle school class called American media trying desperately to ruin the life of the substitute teacher, Trump. And so none of the things that he's been accused of, the major things he's been accused of, he's done. Even the New York jury that he was accused of a specific heinous crime, the New York jury said, no, we don't agree with his accuser. But then, of course, they had to say he did something bad. But the actual specific crime, he's like, no, he didn't do that. There's no evidence of that. So he's never done what they've accused him of doing. He's consistently been innocent of their main allegations. On the other hand, Hunter, Joe, Bill, Hillary, completely different story. Okay, I can't imagine, I know that people don't think I'm nuts, but I cannot imagine Hillary Clinton not being the 24 nominee. Okay, but you have CNN exclusive. CNN obtains tape of Trump's 2020 conversation about classified documents. They don't have the document. He speaks in hyperbolic terms, so it's like he didn't really tell on himself in the way that it looks like, oh my God, they found the holy grail of corruption. Meanwhile, you have Joe Biden actually stating he's going to withhold $1 billion in loan guarantees until a prosecutor is forced out. Then they go back in time and say, oh, well, that was U.S. foreign policy. It was never U.S. foreign policy to force out a prosecutor. That's never been U.S. foreign policy to pick a specific official and force him out and say, we're not going to give you $1 billion in loan guarantees. That was because Hunter was on the board of directors. Yes, and you have to prove it when they say, well, it's never been proven. You have to prove it in a court of law. But all the evidence there is enough to indict. That's a felony. To withhold they say he withheld military assistance. He didn't. They got the military assistance. Trump had every right to say, hey, did Joe Biden commit crimes? Biden had no right to say, you're going to be forced out. That's not U.S. foreign policy. And just because like 5 or 6 people in President Obama's administration go to bat for a Democratic candidate saying, oh, yeah, it was part of our foreign policy, that means it's completely meaningless. And so you have this where it looks bad, but at the same time, you better find the document. You're not going to convict this man of anything. And you're just going to give him another, thank God, a political victory. I hope Trump gets back in 24 into the Oval Office. We'll have record low poverty again, hopefully like we had in 2019. Record highs in household median income and a much better foreign policy. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. They have nothing on this man. It's kind of hilarious.